Hi, my name is Jamie Green, and I am researching stratification systems, which are hierarchical structures embedded within societies that dictate how individuals within the various systems have access to socioeconomic factors such as income, prestige, education, healthcare, and other very important qualities of life. Now, I wanted to research stratification systems because, in the current climate of political and social unrest within the United States and cultures all over the world, I think it's really important to be able to understand what a stratification system is, how they work, and what I can do to enact change within these systems. So, what is stratification? One of the cultural identities that make up a society is social class identity. And Fred Jandt in Intercultural Communications describes stratification as a separation or grouping of a culture's people into hierarchical groups based on, as I said earlier, socioeconomic factors. These factors include income, education, and occupational prestige, but can also include wealth, ethnicity, race, and gender. These structural beliefs are designed and enforced by society. I've included an image here of the striations of rock formations or the strata, which are the layers. I thought it would be a great visual aid in how the layering of a society works under these stratification systems. There are two types of stratification systems. We have closed systems and open systems. So an example of a closed system would be the caste system, which is a rigid system based on ascribed status and has little to no social mobility. So when you're born into a caste system, your occupation and marriage rights are already predetermined based on what caste you are born into. Conversely, class systems are an open system where it is merit based, where social status is affected by personal achievement and allows for upward and downward mobility. So it is based on meritocracy, which is the understanding that if you work hard, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, then you are able to climb the social ladder. These systems are not enforced by law. Um, System examples are the United States of America, which is very meritocratic, but often meritocracy justifies inequality. The advantages that you are born with really have a huge effect on what kind of situations you find yourself in. Educational opportunities, opportunities within the workforce, um, basic access to healthcare, affordable and safe housing. So the open system is just as rigid almost as a caste system due to these factors. Now, as an example of a caste system, we have India. So India's caste system divides Hindus into four main categories. Now, there is a fifth varna of the caste hierarchy known as Dalits. Now, Dalit in Hindu or Sanskrit means scattered or broken. And the people within this caste hierarchy are known as untouchables. They are often blamed for carrying diseases and are extremely isolated within their societies. Now, the caste system was prohibited in 1950 with the Indian Constitution. However, the social hierarchy in India is still very much alive. So, the class system in the United States of America, while not as rigid as a caste system, still separates between social classes, which create an inequity in the society. The social class system separates its citizens into groupings based on socioeconomical factors that we discussed earlier. Now, the table on the left describes the class order and their percent of the population as well as their indicative gross income. So you can see a huge discrepancy between the classes. From the capitalists, which are the top 1% of the nation, their gross income is approximately $2 million, which is in stark contrast to the underclass society, which is 12% of the population, who have an average of a gross income of approximately $15,000. Now, on the right, you have another table, which deeply goes into a more sociological application of the class differences. And this discusses the different classes and the accessibility of language within those classes. So here you see that a professional has access to 45 million words within their vocabularies. Working class people have access to 26 million words, and welfare classes have only access to 13 million words. And this discrepancy is huge. The disparity of the welfare class in their ability to describe themselves, how they present themselves to society, how they advocate for themselves, is extremely affected by the class system in the United States of America because these classes determine access to education, healthcare, safe, affordable housing. You know, this is where the merit-based system is often based on inequality. Like we discussed earlier, your ability to have access to these things at the beginning of your life really has a huge effect on where you end up within your lives. Not everybody has a pull your bootstraps up story. There are a lot of other situations that are needed in that kind of scenario to just manifest wealth or social climbing, upward mobility. So how do we enact change? Given that caste and class systems are based on factors like income, occupation, and education that are based on societal beliefs, how do we combat the stratifications of its citizens, of a society's citizens, based on the accessibility of these factors? So, do we enact universal education, universal healthcare, meritocracy that isn't a justification of inequality, wealth distribution, marriage equality? Perhaps most importantly, we must first acknowledge the existence and inequity of these open and closed stratification systems and come together as members of the only true social order, which is humanity. Fred Rogers reminds us that there are three ways to ultimate success. The first way is to be kind. The second way is to be kind. And the third way is to be kind. Thank you very much for coming along with me on this cursory journey of the stratification systems within the United States and other cultures. I hope that each and every one of you viewing this video take time to enact change in small ways in your life. Treat people with kindness. Thank you.